Well, hello, and welcome back to Ecocentric. This will be my quote final video for Shedwars21, I guess. The weigh-in. This year, I've added more data. I have the date column here, and then going across this way, I have crops put in alphabetical order, starting with apples, you can see. And so 2021, January the 1st, if I scroll across, I harvested a tomato or two on the 1st of January. That was the Tiny Tim tomatoes that I'm growing in the house. Then a couple of days later, 48. So with plants like that, you can grow pretty much year round. You just need a sunny windowsill, really. I'll go back to go through these in alphabetical order. Apples. My first harvest was the Ida Red apples, and that was on September the 4th. 12 kilos, so that's a rounded up 5-gallon bucket, right? The bucket full is about 10 kilos or something. And I picked them all, and that's my last one. All the apples had fallen at this point. And then I started on, well, actually, some apples were falling from the one by the hen house. And this is what these first couple are. I picked the few apples up off the ground. And then I said, I'm not going to bother with that. And here then I started and I picked all the apples from what I could reach just standing on the ground. Picked them off the tree and another one, so 21 kilograms. And then I got up on the ladder, the little step ladder that I have, where as far as I could do it comfortably, and picked those. And this is when I started shaking the apples from the tree, and I had them put out in the wheelbarrow. And then with the apples that I couldn't get that way, there was still a lot left in the tree, and they started falling down. And as I'm processing them, I'm going out and getting a bucket full, you see. There's no snow on the ground. I might get another bucket full if I get this one I got here done. But for now, this is the end of apple picking. The cliff apple, I only got 18 apples off of that tree this year. The apple tree behind the cellar, that is pretty much the same kind of apple as the henhouse apple, and it is, or it was, really heavily loaded with apples this year as well, but it's in a lot of shade and it doesn't have very many branches, so I wouldn't have gotten near as many as I got off this tree, but I would have gotten quite a bit if I decided to go out and get them. But they're out further away from the house, so I said, well, I'll leave them for the wild animals. As you can see, apples, 281 kilograms or 619 pounds from that tree by the hen house alone. Last year, this is what I had done last year. I just got, this is the a number for each time I harvested. There's no date. But we'll scroll down here, apples. I only picked 108 kilograms, 239 pounds off of, that's from the hen house, the one on the cliff which done fairly well last year, and the Ida Red. The one behind the cellar didn't produce last year. But 239 pounds as opposed to 619 pounds this year just from the one by the hen house. Another 40 kilograms, 88 pounds from the Ida Red, and I didn't get very much from the one on the cliff. So we're up to, that's 815 pounds, somewhere around there. At any rate, there's the value, $1,500 for the hen house ones, 221 for Ida Red, and 14 for the cliff apples. Beans, I'm learning beans, you see. I really tried them first last year. I don't think I had any in 2019. I can't remember. So I am learning something each year, so I'm doing better with that, and each year will improve. I got the harvest there. That was my first harvest, and I think there's a video with that in on July the 29th, and then September the 27th, October the 6th. I picked some that was left behind just a couple of days ago. Now the foliage is all dying, but the beans they're not looking very good, so I don't have those recorded in here. Total kilograms 1.698 kilograms, 3.7 pounds, for a value of $6.55. I did get more last year. Where are the beans? No, I got more this year. See, I got 898 grams, or 1.97 pounds of baking beans last year. And this year I got 3.74 pounds, 1.698 kilograms. Red beets, you've seen the video, they just come in one fell swoop, 15 kilograms, 15.9 kilograms. I did take a couple early on for fresh eating. So where was that? Right there, on the 3rd of September. Which gets me to 16 kilograms, 16.282 kilograms, 35.9 pounds. I did less with that last year, but I mean, I did less than I got last year, and I said that in the video. Last year I got 40 pounds or something. You got the beets here, and I got 40.26 pounds, you see. But I can't really judge that because last year I got a lot of small ones, and I planted them traditionally, fairly close together, so that I just pull up small ones and turn them all into pickled beets. This year I had them all spaced out, so that may have something to do with it, that I had just so many less beets that the size that they were, it didn't make up to 40 pounds. The sugar beets I was disappointed in the beginning because I only got 18 pounds. I got more than that last year. Not much more, 20.68 pounds. But this year I had 2 beds, whereas last year I think I only had 1. But then I remembered, well, the snowshoe hare came by and ate all the beets out of one bed and some out of the other bed, so I replanted those, and they grew, but they were not very big. The ones that I put out in the beginning were big. Blueberries, I didn't even record blueberries last year because I went up on the blueberry flats where most people go to pick blueberries and got some up there. I was waiting for the blueberries on my property that most of them would be ripe. But before I went to pick them, the birds decided it was their time, and they cleaned them right out. So this year I got in a little earlier, got in ahead of the birds and picked the ripe ones as they're getting ripe, and ended up with 7 kilograms, 4 or 5 gallons something, 15.5 pounds, and a value of $27. Carrots, well, I realized what was wrong with the carrots, and I might do it. I'm thinking about talking about it in a future video, but for now, well, it was a bad year for carrots. I put out some as transplants and some as direct sow, but neither one did very well. The transplant didn't want to grow, and the direct sow didn't want to germinate. And so I ended up with just 3 kilograms, or 7 pounds. Cherries, you've seen cherries, that tree was loaded. They're so small and light though, eh? So I was kind of surprised after all the cherries that I took off that tree, it only come to 7.7 kilograms, which is 17 pounds. The onion chives, I could have gotten more than this, but I recorded, was it 1 or 2 harvests? I was trimming back the herbs at 1.2 harvests. See, this one here is where I was trimming back the herbs, that video. And then later I went out and I was making a pot of soup, I believe it was, and I went and got a few for that. So that's the thing about those things. You might go and grab some herbs here and there and not really record it, right? The black currants, 0.254. I'm not impressed with the taste of black currant so far. So the bush is there. It's going to be a good producer, so it's staying until either I figure out how to like black currants or I decide to replace it with another fruit. At any rate, I did get 0.25 kilograms from its first year growing. Now this is the currants, not the gooseberries. It's a very small bush and it's just starting to produce now. So I got a half a pound, which is pretty good. The white currants, that's a fully mature bush, which comes in loaded every year. And you can see that I only got 10 pounds off of, like I said, I just loaded right down. 4.69 kilograms for a value of $39. Garlic did alright again. I'm happy with how my garlic is producing, I think. Now let's see, we got 9 pounds out of them this year. What did we get last year? I think I recorded that. Yeah, over here. We got 7 pounds last year, see? This was kind of surprising, actually. The garlic scapes only come in at 0.58 kilograms, 1.28 pounds. And even though I got less weight in garlic last year, I got 990 grams, 2.178 pounds of garlic scapes. So I got more scapes, but less garlic. Gooseberries, we only had those 2 bushes. One of them didn't produce very well because I was neglecting it and just too much grass got up around it. But at any rate, 5 pounds, 2.5 kilograms, I am quite happy with that for its first year producing. Grapes, well, what can I say? I was not expecting this. I was expecting, just like every other year, just to get a few grapes, probably half that many, maybe, and that they'd all be green. But no, they loaded right down and most of them ripened up. So I've got 27.4 pounds or 12.438 kilograms of grapes that if I turn them into juice, well, I can just mix the few raw ones that I got in with it. You just have a little tartar juice, that's all. So yeah, that was quite a surprise. Kale is another one of those that I've harvested more than this. It's just that sometimes I remembered. Like if I was going out in the garden specifically to get some greens for a salad, then I could come in and weigh it and record it. But some of my kale harvest is not recorded. I've got 1.3 pounds. Mustard seed, I think, let's see, how much did we get last year? Did we put it in? Mustard seed, yeah. Okay, last year we got 1.23 pounds. I didn't do anything with it last year. I still got the seed. It would be nice to know how much I got in 2019, because in 2019 I got a good bit. Once again, that's something for a future video. But yeah, I only got 0.7 pounds. So I did get more last year. And I don't know why I only got that little bit this year. Onions, while I would have liked to have gotten more from the New York early, it's the first time growing them, so I don't know, it might be normal. I was blaming it on the fact that I let those few plants grow up there and they were overtopping the onions. But like I say, first time growing them, so I don't know what's normal for New York early. Reagan or parsley, I have it recorded here. But these things, I'm going to put them on a separate page for next year, I think. And figure out a way to say, well, this is the weight in fresh, this is the weight in dry, and then calculate the value. Parsnip, they did wonderfully. One of those feed sacks stuffed right full. Then I found a couple more afterwards. Actually, it was 4 more out there. So 72 pounds in all, 32.7 kilograms. And they are delicious. Oh boy. So I have to keep the seeds I was eating on the other day. As I've had to keep my seed stock because in my memory, I wasn't really that fond of parsnip. But the stuff I grew this year, man, it is delicious. And a really nice uniform texture all the way through. Hot peppers. This is coming in. I mean, I'm just starting hot peppers this year. I went on and checked to see what I could grow, and the hot peppers were the shortest season. But we did learn something about peppers this year, and I'm thinking next year will be a good year for peppers for me. For hot peppers, that is. The sweet peppers, I got a couple things I'll try, but I'm not overly successful yet, and I've been trying them, well, this will be 2 years now, and so I got just a small amount. Now this number for the hot peppers, that's the ones I recorded, and then when all the green tomatoes come in, I made some spicy green tomato pickles and some green tomato salsa, and I picked the rest of the hot peppers to use in those recipes, and I forgot to record the weight. And it was, I don't know, 6 or 7 peppers, so. This one's underweight. That's closer. I didn't really get a whole lot of sweet peppers. Now plums, of course, you've seen the plums. 127.74 pounds, or 57.9 kilograms. That's a lot of plums from one small tree. That has a value of $381. So they're all put in the freezer to make plum sauce or desserts or something as they go through the winter. Red potatoes at 53.7 pounds. First off, you'd think, well, I only put in 60 sets, so that's not really too bad. But then, wait a minute, there was volunteers too. So I don't know how much the volunteers weighed. The blue potatoes, they were all small. They had a good number of potatoes if they had grown to anything. The Kennebec potatoes, they did the best because I had 9 sets and I got 17 pounds. I go for a pound a set. You can get better than that, but that's what would be considered good. The russet potatoes, 49, once again from 66. Yukon Gold, all I got was a measly 23 pounds, 10 kilograms. All in all, because I set the Kennebec as well, I got 190 pounds, and I aim for 240. That's why the 8 beds, 30 sets in a bed, right? That will be 240 sets. But the last 2 years, the potatoes haven't grown properly. Once again, I know why, and I'm trying to decide on how I'm going to do a video on the what I learned this year with respect to that. Pumpkin. Kind of thinking we got the same problem with pumpkin too as with the potatoes. I had 8 set, and I ended up with 3 softball-sized pumpkins, and they didn't ripen out. So 2 pounds all told. Rosemary, that's once again, that's going over in a separate herbs harvest. Raspberries, this is the red raspberries. 13.9 kilograms or 30.66 pounds. Now, last year, red raspberries, I picked 12 kilograms, 26.7 pounds, and I was picking pretty much every berry I could reach. This year, you remember where that bird's nest was, so I didn't go in there the entire time. I just went around the outside of that patch and in the one other bed. So to get 30 pounds without going through that stretch, that's a lot of raspberries. I would probably have gotten another 10 pounds if I had gotten the ones that was in there. The golden raspberries, 9.52 pounds. What did we do last year with golden raspberries? We got 10 pounds. So not much difference, and they didn't really put on a second flush this year, though. See, last year, the golden raspberries put on that small autumn flush, and this year they didn't do that. Rutabaga, enough for me. It was just that I was expecting them to be bigger, that's all. And on top of that, I'm better off with smaller ones anyway. I think next year I'm going to plant them closer together, decide on the size I want, and then plant the seeds accordingly. Rhubarb, I just wasn't bothering with rhubarb this year. I had a lot last year, and I still had some in the freezer from last year. I did do a couple of harvests, and I think most of it I gave away. But it was worth $34. Salad greens, that was another one of those things. I said salad greens because there was that mixed greens thing in Shed Wars, and then I throw in a couple other things like volunteer dandelion and marshmallow and that type of thing, right? So I just made a salad and weighed it. That's what I did there. Snow peas, I wasn't bothering with them this year. I eat a few when they're ripe. Just pick them off the vine and eat them. For putting them in soups and that kind of stuff, I couldn't be bothered. So next year I'm going to grow less. My uncle likes them, and he'll enjoy getting a bag of fresh, whether it be snow peas or sweet peas, once in a while. So I'll probably grow half of what I grew the last 2 years. Her spaghetti squash, I did get some spaghetti squash this year, so I'm very happy with that. They're a good size each individually for what I like, so 2 kilograms, 5 pounds. And I got butternut squash. I only got the one, but I did get, that's a Wattam butternut. I haven't cooked them yet. I'm eager to do a good recipe with that. It come in at 0.44 pounds, almost 1 pound. 0.44 kilograms, almost 1 pound. This VM, that's vegetable marrow. I got 2 vegetable marrow squash that are just the right size for me to make a single meal out of, I think. Anyway, they come with 2.4 kilograms, 0.88, so half a pound each. There's the sugar snap peas, which I just basically the same as the snow peas. I'm going to grow a half a length of a fence instead of a full length. I didn't expect to get much of the strawberries, so when they started, oh, there's a ripe one here and there's a ripe one there, and I just ate them out in the garden. But they started putting on a few, and I got a handful here and a handful there, so I brought them in and weighed them. All of them. Let me scroll up here. You see the harvest that I did? So I got a few strawberries on quite a few days. all put together came to 2.5 kilograms or 5.5 pounds. Tomatoes, I'm happy with tomatoes again. They grew very well. I think some places, if I gave them more water, they might have done better. But at any rate, 50 pounds. What did we get with tomatoes last year? Tomatoes, where are you? See, last year I only got 45 pounds. I got 50 pounds of tomatoes this year, so that's wonderful. And each year it'll improve. Thyme, once again, that's a herb that's going to go over in another page. Winter savory. Zucchini. I did okay with the Rhonda Nice zucchini. The Black Beauty, when the weather started getting very warm, it put out its flowers and there was a whole bunch pollinated. Looked like they were going to start to grow. And they just sat there and sat there and sat there. And when the weather started to cool down, one of them started to grow, but the tip stayed small. And it got up to decent zucchini size. I brought that one over to one of my relatives. And then there was another one that got up to, was enough for me to make some zucchini pancakes. And that was it. The rest of them never come to nothing. But like I said, I got 4 zucchini off the Rhonda Nice. 2 of them were what you call a big zucchini, and the other one was a fair size one, and then I got a nice one that I picked early on. And then in the end, I got our daily totals here, and this will be the total weight, 670 kilograms, or 1,478 pounds. But you see what I got over here now, past the zeros, and right there. I've got garden costs put in. For this year, I tracked back my seed orders. You see, I got Incredible Seeds, Salt Spring Seeds, and Heritage Harvest Seeds. This is where I ordered my seeds from that I bought for this year. And here's another Incredible Seeds. These I actually paid last year, those 3 there. And I got our livestock cost there. This is where I bought the yellow sticky traps because I had a problem with fungus gnats. See, livestock cost $72. I bought 24 chicks. And then $50 I bought 2 bags of chick starter. I bought that bag potting soil, 114. Okay, so 1 bag of layer, 2 bags of layer, yard of topsoil. They sold the loader that has the 1 yard bucket on it. So now to get topsoil from them, I'll have to bring down 5-gallon buckets and fill them up. $48, that'll be 2 bags of chick starter again. Oh, here's the loppers. $32 right there. So here's where the hens started laying. On August 11th, I got my first egg. But at this point, I figured they were fully grown, and I would started sending the roosters off to freezer camp. This is my lawnmower. I already hoarded some of my seeds for next year. So in the bottom here, I've got these 2 orders that's for next year. And I scroll down. This $858 total is for this year's seed and some of next year's. Before I scroll back, this was my livestock cost, $389 total. I've so far got 618 eggs, or 51 dozen, at $409, but they are actually $429 now. I just checked in the store the other day. $220.94. This was the hen harvest, so if you were to go and buy a chicken in the store, how much would it cost you per pound, right? And I've gotten 48.5 pounds of meat from the roosters for a total of $151 in value. That puts me still a little bit beyond. Another $16 to break even. That's less than 3 dozen. Now I'm getting 10 eggs a day, so before this week is out, they will have paid for themselves. Let's talk about this though. See, $858.68. That's what I paid total. I had to buy new loppers. I had to buy a new lawnmower. I bought expensive potting soil, and it's seed orders from 2 years. 670 kilograms, 1,478 pounds, for a net worth of $3,634.80. So gardening has been quite worth it, in my opinion. I hope you enjoyed that, and you'll hit the like, leave me a comment, and come back for the next one. I'll see you then.